Then I finally told my father what he doesn't want to hear and I said I don't want to fight anymore. Yujiro, you can have the title. Dad, I relinquish the title. You're now champion again and I will even do it publicly if I have to. I don't want to fight anymore. I've proven enough and I'm done now. I want to live in peace with my family. And Yujiro said, what bullshit, you can't live in peace as long as Hanmas live in this world. And then I said maybe you should all try it sometime, and then he tried to fight me and I knocked him out instantly. And Daryl said, holy shit, you alright boss? And I said I'm fine, just call the cops or whatever to come pick Yujiro Hanma up. And he said okay boss, and Daryl ran inside the shop to call the cops on Yujiro Hanma and he said, Sheriff, we got a troublemaker up here at the garage and they came to put handcuffs on him and they sent him to prison for assault and battery on me. And Yujiro Hanma went to the same prison as Biscuit Oliva. They had to use that powerful tranquilizer on my dad again and everything went back to normal as I was now a pillar of the community in this small little town of Superior, Arizona, where I met my wife Grace McKenna all those years ago. I even repaired the town all by myself. It was now very clean and energy efficient because of me. I even rebuilt mine and Grace's house so we could live in it better. Since we were both bigger and taller, we needed bigger bathrooms and everything, so I made sure that was all done and I made me and Grace a nice house in her old hometown of Superior, Arizona. And me and Grace's kids, our kids live right next to us in a nice big house I built, but for some reason they decided to marry their own sisters and they even had kids with them. I still thought that was weird, and they had healthy children without birth defects thanks to our Hanma genes. And I said why do they have sex with their siblings and all that, and Grace said her family often did that. They liked to have sex with their siblings and family members. They didn't think anything was wrong with it. And I said, Grace, you're not supposed to have sex with your family members. Grace, it's weird and it's not right, but do whatever you want I guess. And Grace got mad and playfully punched my arm and it actually hurt and I said ouch really loud. I'm trying to wash the dishes and everything that hurts. And then I made love to Grace, but now I don't want to get her pregnant anymore, so I always made sure I wear a condom or I pull out. I still make love to her in every sexual position and I still satisfy my wife sexually. I just don't want to worry about getting her pregnant anymore, so I try to prevent it altogether. And I also help the town so much that people love me now. And meanwhile in the back of the prison bus, Yujiro Hanma was angry and he said in his thoughts, it's not just his fists that are stronger, it's his punches too. Could he really have achieved it? The mastered iron fist technique. Oh, who am I kidding? He learned that a long time ago, but he's been training it the last 10 years. He had the knowledge, he just needed to train the technique. And Yujiro said that's it, he trained with reinforced steel plates, that's why he's around all those cars. And Yujiro Hanma yelled, son of a bitch, that's how he did it. He practiced lifting the cars every day and he punched reinforced steel plates every day for 10 years plus every other type of training he does. And I continued my life in peace living with Grace McKenna undisturbed for many years, and I lived and loved my wife Grace, and I gave my championship title back to Yujiro Hanma and I made my home in the town I nearly got trapped in all those years ago. I stayed in Superior, Arizona as the local hero and town car mechanic, and none of my siblings came around to challenge me to a fight anymore. And I lived in peace for many years with my wife, but I always trained every day. I never stopped because I am still a Hanma. Time couldn't touch me and my wife because we are the perfect humans, and I loved her for many years and we lived and loved in peace.